So how do you guys feel about MILFs? You know, there's a tradition here in Japan. People eat strawberry shortcake on Christmas Day. It's a traditional Christmas food, but it's covered in whipped cream, right? So the problem is everything you don't have right away goes in the fridge, and then it starts to go sour and become inedible. And the very morbid part is that this term for a Christmas cake that is slowly becoming undesirable in the fridge is also a generic term in Japan for any woman who isn't married by the age of 30, which is so incredibly dark. I mean, that is jet black, but I think that kind of thinking might have carried over a bit to the Tekken roster, because just think about a couple of the Tekken ladies who might have a few years on them. Like Michelle was replaced by her own daughter Julia. I think Nina and Anna were conveniently cryogenically frozen so they could stay in the game but be half the age they actually are. And Kazumi is some sort of memory or revenant of a young woman who was violently strangled to death by her own husband. She was kind of turning into a demon and shooting lightning out of her titty, so maybe that was inevitable, but it's convenient again because now we can have a girl in the roster who's younger looking than her own grandson in the same roster. You know, I honestly hadn't thought about it until now, but the Tekken roster really is a bunch of very high-tier, powerful 50-year-old dudes beating the shit out of a bunch of bottom-tier teenage girls. Man, this game is for perverts, dude. This game is for masochists. We keep going online expecting people to play fair, and then we eat snake edges like they're breakfast cereal. Anyway, before that great balance patch came out, I was doing a series of videos on some of the less popular Tekken characters, and I wanted to spotlight them. And I want to talk about Kazumi now. I really like the idea of a demonic female Mishima who like shoots tigers and stuff. It might look gimmicky, but I guess it's kind of like an aged cheese, you know? It's a very distinct flavor, but not one that everybody's going to respond to. I personally love a slice of blue cheese and a slice of Kazumi on a Monday. It's all good. So before I start talking about the move list here, I want to talk about how good I think this character is. And this is a very interesting topic when it comes to this character. If you look at a bunch of tier lists, many people place this character near the top, especially back in Season 2. But the way I always looked at Kazumi is she's a character who scales almost linearly with player ability. So she's going to be about as good as the person who uses her, in my opinion, because all of her really good stuff is like her basic stuff, her jab string, her fast pokes, her magic for her low pokes. She doesn't have those big safe on block or plus on block mid counter hit moves that she can just keep on repeating until one of them connects and then she collects the round. You get very little for free, in my opinion, but if you're able to tie these fundamental basic tools together with a lot of movement and good knowledge of frame data, then she can do amazingly well. And I think a lot of the opinions on Kazumi were shaped when Arslan Ash exploded onto the scene. This is his signature character, and he's so incredibly good, and he did so well, and people assumed that, you know, like Akuma, maybe this was a secret top-tier character that we didn't know about. But I think in the case of Kazumi, it had more to do with Arslan than it did her, because, like I said, if she scales the player ability, and he's one of the best Tekken players in history, then she's going to do extremely well in his hands. So those are my views on her sort of tier list position. She can do very well, but I don't think you get much for free. She's not like those other good characters where, you know, you can just do good moves all the time. But when she did so well in Season 2, they gave her kind of an overhaul in Season 3. I think they more or less redesigned this character and gave her kind of a new playstyle, but her popularity dropped so dramatically that now I'm doing like a video on her as if she was an almost unused character. I basically don't see Kazumi at all anymore here in Japan. I don't know what it's like in online where you live, but I'm assuming it's probably similar, but she's like almost unused at this point. And it's weird because I was poking around in her move list today and finding this new playstyle that I think they intend for her, but it's something that very few people have explored because so few people play her in Season 3. They seem to have taken her from a character that focuses on a lot of fast movement and fast pokes and brought her more towards focusing on her tiger and stance moves and applying mix-ups out of stance. This is her stance Last Warrior. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but let's start with some punishment here. So for 10 frames, you have flash punches, which is amazing. You know, one of the best jab strings, poke strings, and 10-frame punishers in the game. She's a pseudo Mishima, and she does get that, which is great for her. You know, you can do the 2 hits, delay, and then pull the trigger on the final one. It's very powerful, creates a core strategy for the character. It's had its frame data adjusted to feel less unfair recently. And then you have 122 for a damage option, slightly more damage. Maybe you prefer, getting some plus frames and actually standing over your opponent so you can keep on applying pressure. It's going to depend on the situation. For the 12 frame, you have this 1+2. This used to be my favorite move with the character, maybe my favorite mid to do in the entire game when I played Kazumi. That's a long time ago, back in the arcade days of Tekken 7. So I'm not an expert on how this character is supposed to be played these days at all, but I have some of this stuff still in my muscle memory. But this 1+2, the tiger comes out as long as the second hit connects. And it used to be massive damage. It still is pretty high damage. It's got good tracking, amazing range. It kind of, has one of those vortexes where it kind of sucks the opponent into itself. And then you get this tiger. So doesn't knock down anymore. It caught a damage nerf, which is sad because it's her wall combo, and her combo damage is kind of low overall. She has some of the lowest combo damage in the game, and so that meant that her combo damage at the wall also took a hit. But what they've done instead now is the tiger comes out and the opponent does not get knocked down. They get pushed away, and you get massive frame advantage if you transition into Last Warrior. So this is where I come to what I think is supposed to be the new playstyle of the character. Look, you hit with this, you fly, and you're at +9, and you're in stance, which means, for example, that your Electric Wind God Fist, which is only available from stance for her, is an uninterruptible launcher right here. So a bunch of your moves now give you golden mix-up opportunities from Last Warrior, which is really cool. They also gave Last Warrior this ability to cancel into the other version of itself, so you can fly around. I think it looks really cool. I love what she's doing with her hands. Looks like she's kind of summoning something. I don't know. But it's really awesome, and there are a bunch of moves like this. We're going to get to a couple of them, but up 4-2, for example, basically unused for her in the past, I think, but now you can do this at 14 frames. You get 32 damage, which is not bad, and you're flying in with +9 here. Really cool. It's also a pretty good combo ender. They did the exact same thing for While Standing 3 as well, which is now a pretty decent 15-frame block punisher here. 35 damage in a stance mix-up. So, again, they want you to focus more on stance mix-ups, obviously, and you have a Hell Sweep and an Electric and some cool mids. And I guess we're talking about the stance mix-up now. I think the coolest mid that you have here really is this 1+2, because this is plus on block. So if you want to do this mid and they just want to chill and not eat the mix-up, you can convert it into advantage and you can keep going anyway, making it very oppressive. You fly in, you get more advantage, you just keep going. You can charge this up and make it unblockable if they're being very passive, punishing them hard for just standing around. You have a throw from the stance as well. You have this 3 here, which is a safe mid, which is amazing. And you have the 1, which is punishable but only -11, and a very powerful wall bounce move. Check this out. So I mean, I really like the stance at this point, and I think your transitions into it are solid. I love when you have good mix-up stances tied to fast block punishment, because it means that as you're being defensive and blocking moves, you do have an opportunity to convert that into stance mix-ups. Sometimes you get stance mix-ups that don't get accessed because it's just difficult to get into the stance with advantage, so cool stuff. But for other punishment for 13, you have Crimson Dawn, amazing, adjusted many times. I remember I think it was Arcade, Knee came out and said, this move is way too good, the frame data is way too good, you have to change it. And they changed it a couple of times. It's -13 on block, meaning that characters who can launch -13 from while standing, like Kanzia, can punish this very hard. But some characters don't really have anything good for -13, and then you can really get abusive with this. It's delayable, it wall splats, it's just an amazing mid. And right now it's -3 and I think +6. So for downward ones, the frame data is not amazing, but the other properties of the move are just very good. So you use it for a mid still, and you can use downward 4 and other stuff as well for mid poke, so you have good stuff there. For 15 frames, you do get a hop kick, but it's one of the worst hop kicks in the game because the range is tiny, and like I said earlier, her combo damage isn't good. So this definitely works and does its job, and you should use it when you have the opportunity, but be aware that if there's pushback in the mix, if you're moving around looking for a whiff punish, this hop kick, unless you're like at range 0 and you're sidestepping into it, it's not great for whiff punishing purposes. But you do have your 3 here. This is another 15 frame move. Knocks down the guaranteed follow-up. So if you need to kill a Rage Shard on block and stuff, you can use that. Now this Tiger here used to be guaranteed follow-up after this. I know it's been changed, so I'm not entirely sure if the Tiger is still a completely guaranteed follow-up. If it is, then that's 50 damage and it's pretty cool, but you can get your Punch Stomp here for 45 if it isn't. And then big launchers. Well, your main Whiff Punisher in the past, or your intended dedicated Whiff Punisher, was down for 2 Tiger Uppercut, not the Street Fighter move, a literal Tiger Uppercut. This looks so amazing. It's such a cool looking move. I love this. But it's awkward for the combos that it gives you, and I just thought it was a pretty lackluster move in the past, because if you look at how massive it is, this should be like one of those giant Whiff Punishers that hits from way long range, but it really doesn't. Its range is good, but not amazing. It's actually kind of iffy, in my opinion. And it's 18 to come out, so it's slow, and on block it's like minus a trillion, right? So you have to be very careful with this. So instead of like changing this move and making it better, what they did is they just gave you a completely different and, in my opinion, superior Whiff Punisher for 18 frames, and it's forward 3. So forward 3 is one of the main moves you use to access Last Warrior in the past, especially in combos. Like, you launch the opponent and you do this, you know, and then you go into combos. Well, forward 3 is 18 frames to impact. You hold forward for Last Warrior, and if you do this now and you do the electric right away, it's a natural combo, meaning that this is a natural launcher and a Whiff Punisher. And look at the range of this thing. If I backdash here from full range, down forward 2 is just barely going to miss, but the forward 3 is going to hit no problem. So this is like a very solid Whiff Punisher now. So you're moving around, looking for mistakes, and then you can scoop them up with this, and it's just super good. The combo isn't super high damage, but I found that instead of like, you see a lot of people do this stuff for combos, but I honestly think just do 3-1. It's consistent, it's high damage, it's convertible, you get really good combos, and it's just easy. So that's what I would recommend for a combo when you're starting out with this move. But there you go. It's a really cool little Whiff Punisher. Kind of slow at 18, but I think it's good enough that it's definitely going to work. It would be nice for her if she had something more powerful, maybe for 15 or 16. But there you go. And then for While Standing, you have basically the best 11 frame, maybe outside Leo and the 2D characters. This is basically the best 11 frame ever. Her tsunami kicks, you know. You've got homing properties. You've got giant damage, wall splats, and all the rest of it. They can duck the second hit and launch you, as far as I remember, if they react to the first hit properly. So be sure that you're actually going to punish with it when you use it. For 12, you have your While Standing 1-2. Crappy range though, so be careful. As you can see, very short range here. For 15, you have your 3 that we mentioned, and you can go into Last Warrior mix-ups, which is really cool. And then your While Standing 2 is your launcher for 18 again. So she's going to struggle to launch punish some lows that require a fast move, unless she's doing hop kicks from full crouch, which you can always do. But again, keep in mind that crappy range. It's very, very important. So what else does she have for like signature moves or powerful moves? Well, her Magic 4 is still great. This is like a signature move of the character. You have to do back 2 to get the combo, and you have to be quick, but it's something that anybody can learn to do consistently, as far as I know. I mean, I did it back in the day, and my reaction speed isn't amazing as a player. So it's a great little counter hit tool. It's very, very fast, and keeps her dangerous even when she's defending, you know, coupled with her great block punishment and the flash punches. The back 2 itself is a very fast homing move. I mean, 15 frames. This really locks down people who are stepping a lot. It used to be better than it is right now, because it used to wall splat. And I think the reason they removed that is because it made her oki at the wall a little bit oppressive. You know, you knock them down, and you just had this option that beats so many things and re-wall splats them. And so they took that away. And this is just mainly something used to check people who are stepping now, I think. And for the spin move after Magic 4, which is, of course, important. So, yeah, this is caught a nerf for sure. What else? The running 2, right. So this is such an important move for the character. It used to be a one-button strategy for this character back in the day, because you could just keep on doing it on people who didn't know what to do. I honestly think that compared to a lot of good running moves that are dangerous in this game, this is one of the easier ones to step and walk. I do it kind of consistently when I do run into Kazumi players online, so it's an amazing move that you can abuse, but you don't want to get stupid with it. And I think it's honestly a sort of really well balanced and fun to use running move. It's safe on block, you know, but it's not going to lead to like full counter hit combos or anything like that. So, I mean, it's really, really fun to do. I think a good thing to practice with her is getting it up really fast, you know, instant while running if you can. Very good. And it also works as a wall ender when the opponent is really far away. Stature kick caught a nerf as well. This used to be a very oppressive low. It doesn't do what it used for counter hits. It's kind of like Dragunov's down 2 now, I guess. But she has good lows overall. I mean, I like down back 3. I like down back 4. I like down back 2. I like down 3 as well. I mean, down 4 as well. Like a bunch of easy to use and fun low pokes. Good range on them as well. Great stuff for lows. But yeah, the stature kick is not as oppressive as it used to be. What else? We talked about the Last Warrior mix-ups. Oh, the reversal. This is Gigas crying in a fucking corner, guys. So this reversal is really cool. When the opponent swings into this, she's going to summon the tiger, right? So maybe we should actually record that happening just to demonstrate. So let's have Heihachi do. This might be the first time in my life that I'm controlling Heihachi, by the way. Let's do a 1 into a down forward 1. That should work. Yeah, so as you can see right here, it's going to eat the hit with armor, and then going to summon that tiger for a really big hit. So, you know, Gigas has his armor move where he growls and he armors through stuff, and then he has to actually manually do a move himself afterwards to get a follow-up. If you manage to eat through something really big with Gigas, that means that you can go for a down 2 and get a full launch, which is cool for him. But again, what happens most of the time is you don't get it out in time, you attempt it, they block it, and you get launch punished instead. The fact that this just gives you a guaranteed built-in hit for high damage is just better in my opinion because it's so much more consistent and reliable. I think this looks really quite good, and it's so amazing. The stance that she does is super cool. I love this. And so, I mean, just do something like that for Gigas. Just do that he, you know, maybe if he eats through something, he just picks you up and grabs you and throws you away for a bunch of damage. It would be a way to make that character a lot better and give him that signature thing with that power crush. But this isn't a video about Gigas. Okay, let's talk a little bit about combos because it's another area where you've seen some change with this character because of your new cans from Last Warrior Stand. So this is pretty cool. Traditionally, what you used for combos when you needed to convert to the wall with Kazumi is you would kind of like launch them. Let's see, what do we do for the combo? This, and then you would run up and you would do 1-1-2 for the flash punches for the wall conversion. Super consistent, really good carry. It carries them very far. It's obviously not very good damage, but they've given you a new move instead that you can use here. So you can now go into Last Warrior stance and you can do these can kicks for a pretty high damage conversion and get more consistent wall splats. I think it's something that rounds out her combo game and makes it feel a little bit more natural. It's also true that you can use this move in the middle of combos and create combos, and some people use those to create really high damage combos. You can use it for an ender at the very end of combos if you delay it just the proper amount and get really good damage as well. So her combo damage is still low, but I think that's one of the important parts of the character. It's kind of like Bob. You don't want to give him fast launchers because that's supposed to be his signature weakness, and then they give him other cool stuff that he can do instead, and I think it's like that with Kazumi as well. So all in all, I think what you're looking at here is a character who specializes in fundamentals, and in this season, stance mix-ups, which is important to realize. But I think the damage nerf to property nerf to this, and the property nerf to this, and consistent nerfs to Crimson Dawn and her jabs has made people feel like this character is a lot weaker. But I do think they're sleeping on the fact that your stance mix-ups are better, your tiger moves are better and awesome looking, and your combo game is slightly stronger than it used to be. So there is some serious power still baked to this character, and I just really like her, and I think more people should play her. Maybe I will try her. I say that in every one of these videos, but I just realized that, you know, I play Eliza and Zafina, so the two like demon chicks, you know, the possessed evil demon chicks. This is like the last one, so if I play all three of them, I should make that my signature and then create a logo for the channel where I have those three girls with like glowing eyes or something. That would be a cool little trinity for me to specialize in maybe. But yeah, Kazumi is awesome. Definitely try her out. I hope, I mean, because she's supposed to be dead, kind of like Heihachi. If she doesn't show up in future games, I hope they take a lot of these ideas and just carry them forward and keep building on them, and we get something similar in the future, because, yeah, this is a cool character. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I'll see you guys again very soon.